अभी तक हमने ऑलमोस्ट 500 एंड यू हैव योर हल्दी, यू हैव योर मेहंदी, यू हैव कॉकटेल, यू हैव रिसेप्शन, यू हैव द फर्स्ट वेडिंग दैट वी डिड.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Zigzag Moments. Today I am in Frisco, Texas to meet a founder of Lavender Events. She is a true Mumbai girl who started her career in a film marketing and a PR, moved cross country, and now right here in Texas she has created her own event company. So let's dive in to know more about Lavender Events. Let's go.
Hi, Zigzag Moments. Welcome in.
So Shruti, how come your weekend and you are available?
Yes, that's a very good question. Weekend definitely is busy, but yes, you Zigzag girls were going to be here. How could I miss this weekend and miss this amazing moment to spend with you guys?
Thank you, and that's great. So you wanted to be an engineer. What made you to creative field?
Oh my god, this question, I don't even remember the last one I discussed of being an engineer. Yes, so this was my childhood dream to become an engineer. I was a very focused child, always top in my grades and very much into studies. But when I finished my 12th, I mean, this is a very funny story actually. So I belong from Mumbai, and everyone knows Mumbai and Mumbai rains. And when the admission in Mumbai happens, it happens in the month of June and July.
Yeah.
So the last day, me being a very late Latif kid, the last day I had to go for my engineering admission. The last day it was pouring like cats and dogs, and I missed the last train which was going to reach the college at that particular time, for which I had to fill up the form for engineering. So I apparently missed out on that, and after that I had no chances of getting into engineering college, having to spend another year waiting to get for an engineering college. So in the meantime, my mother said that no, this is not working. You cannot miss an year. And mass media was something that which was very coming up and during those days, and people were really getting into that. I being having no knowledge about this whole creative idea, because I've done science and maths and bio, and which was like my my loving spot. I had no option just to go back home और मम्मी से चाटे नहीं खाने थे.
Yeah.
So I decided कि I have to go back and show her something that okay, मुझे इसमें admission मिल गया है. So in spite of scoring a 90% in my 12th standard, I went ahead and I got myself and my admission done in arts, which was Bachelor's of Mass Media. I come back home, though I was expecting some about 10-15 slaps on each cheeks. My mother was gracious enough. She's like, okay, maybe this is what it is for you. Do it for a year. Next year we'll see what we can do.
Yeah.
And then there was no looking back. First year happened, then the year after that, and then the year after that. And then I did MBA in marketing and advertising. So yeah, that's how this whole from engineering जो बोलते हैं ना कि एक जगह से उठ के आप कहाँ रॉकेट से दूसरी जगह पहुँच गए, this is how it happened. So it was absolutely अचानक से गिरा हुआ bomb.
That's great. I mean, that's what was the destiny.
That's what you say, destiny.
Yeah. So you pursued your career in films, marketing and PR.
Yes. So yes, I was a local train child.
Yeah.
Like my half of my time used to go in local train, and I met someone in the train who was doing an internship at one of the media houses, and she was just apparently discussing her whole system with me. And in order to cut down on the train fight, because when I would get out of my college and get in the train, it was like the peak office hours, I decided that I should go and do some internship, so that by the time I take the last local to house, it's going to be pretty empty and I would get some space to get in and out of it. So yeah, that's how my film industry journey began. I began my journey as a copywriter. I started working for Lehre, upcoming news channel at that time, which was affiliated with TV9 Gujarati.
Yeah.
So I started there as a TV copywriter, because Lehre was going to be the Hindi version of TV9 in Maharashtra, the Hindi and Marathi. Somehow I didn't even know that I had that in me, that I could make these 2-3 liners as a promo and all of that for the journalists to sort of speak in their intro. And that's how I started with TV9, with my copywriting journey. And then each day something or the other was unfolding for me.
That's great. And then you came here and the creativity continued.
So my creativity did not continue as I expected it to continue. But as I said, I started with copywriting and then I got into PR and I did PR of these amazing films. I was the personal PR for Imran Hashmi. Like I did
good.
PR for him for a very, very long time. And then from there I got into Panorama Studios and Ajay Devgan Films. So I was marketing their films. And after that, I don't know, some other keeda bit me and I was like, okay, bus ho gaya, abhi films and all this, too much of glitz glamour. Now I need to like take some sort of a turn. So there used to, a lot of exams happen for government. So I did a government examination amongst a lot of people and got selected for Information and Broadcasting Ministry. They were recently launching a position of marketing head, and that was based out of Mumbai and not Delhi. So I got selected amongst, I don't know, some 50-60K people had applied, and I was lucky enough to get through this. And then started my journey as a marketing head for Children's Film Society. It was a big portfolio then. And I think when I joined that organization, more than my age people had experience.
Yeah.
So it was a roller coaster to sort of a young person doing something, coming great from the film industry, fast-paced life, to this government job. Though my job was not of what you called a bureaucrat job, but it was more of a government or more of a sector defining the children film all over the world, like representing India and Indian children's cinema through to the world.
Yeah.
So that was a different journey. And yeah, so I just navigated myself, like each door sort of opened after every other phenomenal chapter I opened in my life. I joined this government organization and I got married, and my only condition of getting married was that I wanted someone based out of Mumbai, so that I could not want to leave my government job. It was a good job, it was a good recognition that I was getting. I was representing India globally. I had got an opportunity to sort of reach out to many countries and representing the Indian children's cinema. So it was a good job. And there comes this a twist, kahani mein twist. I got married, and I got married to a guy who was from Mumbai, family settled in Mumbai, and within 6 months of my marriage, my husband gets shifted to Singapore. And then when that was the day when I had to resign from my job. Yeah, that was a heartbreaking moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yes, I think media, or say a creative line, was always in my hand, or so what to say, in my horoscope or something. I went to Singapore. I was lucky enough to find a job in Sony Pictures. Then my husband decided to move to Bangalore for another opportunity. I was lucky enough to find a job in Radio Mirchi. Then my husband decided to move to Canada, so I was lucky enough to find a job in ZTV. And then when he decided to move to US with a complete understanding that my wife cannot work in the US because there's apparently no media houses there, and especially to a place like Texas. So I had kept all my aspirations, all my career incliments in the pocket back in Mumbai, and I came here all dressed up in my PP suit, because 2020 is when I came in, going to be attacking my husband, because my husband was here all by himself, and I joined him a little later. So I kept my career, I kept my aspirations, everything back in Mumbai to come and join him and lead a domesticated life. So
And you came in the peak COVID time?
peak COVID,
Wow.
absolutely peak COVID. 15 hours, 15 hours non-stop flight from Delhi to Chicago, without food, without water, without having to use the restrooms, and with all those your PP suit. Like it was a peak of Corona.
Yes.
But yes, God had some other plans. God wanted me to be here in the Dallas city of dreams again for me.
Yeah. So how did you celebrate your daughter's first birthday?
Yeah, so my daughter was born here, and her first birthday, I wanted to make it memorable. Of course, coming from a place where we are not very heavy spenders on birthday parties, etc. So I decided to do everything DIY for my daughter's birthday. I thought I have to make it special, but I didn't know the ways and means to do it then. So I sort of decided on the whole concept, what's going to be the color theme, how much is going to be the balloon, what is going to be on the stage, what is going to be on the table, etc., etc., and the various factors of having an event decoration to take off to. So yes, my daughter's first birthday was my interest, the loving interest for me to do the decoration for her without having any thoughts of kind of getting into this event management business. But yeah, that was my first entry sort of thing into this world of creativity here, which I never knew would exist for me.
So how did this lavender event started? Was it organic? Was it planned?
So as I told you, no, it wasn't planned. I had a 1-year-old when I did my daughter's first birthday. So we all are mothers, so we know it's a handful situation, and especially in a country like this where you have absolutely zero support. I cannot take the fact away from this that my husband, right from day one, has been pretty supportive, and he was the one who actually did not even blink, did not even think twice. And he told me that, okay, if decoration makes you happy, go ahead, do it. He didn't know if Lavender Events would be born. He didn't know, I didn't know what is going to happen, whether I'm ever going to get any other client, because everyone comes and say, oh wow, you did it so well. But when you start doing it professionally, you are responsible for a lot of things. आप अपने घर में कुछ लटका लो, कुछ कर लो, कोई भी आपका फ्रेंड आके आपको ये नहीं बोलेगा ये क्या किया है.
Yeah,
but when you're doing it professionally for others, I mean, there are a lot of expectations riding, the monies are riding, so you have to be very careful of what to do. So I got my first job, and then things just started falling in place, and Lavender Events was born.
That's great. So now you have 2 children.
Oh yes, I believe that I have 3, including my husband.
Exactly. I totally agree with you on that. So I've seen your work, the event where I was doing an anchoring. You are fabulous on your work. I've seen the backdrop, the neat and clean, the hangings, the creativity on the red carpet that you had, the photo booth that you had, the table, the chairs were all so nicely done, and the theme of the color with the white and the red, and it was so nice. It was amazing. So I really liked your work. It was so great. So no wonder that Lavender Event is to the peak what it is right now. It's all your efforts. So do you have a team here that you gather, or how do you work?
So Lavender Events, initially I did have a partner who was working with me until lately, and it was both of our efforts that brought Lavender Events to what it is today. She's not here anymore because of visa uncertainties and all this, but I will owe a lot of my success in Lavender Events with her. When we started, we would do about a 1 balloon arch or something. In the last 2 years, we've been doing 200 balloon arches a year.
That's so great.
So our journey towards what you called, I don't know, I wouldn't say it a success or anything, but our journey was upscaling, and we were fortunate enough that a lot of people entrusted in us. They did not feel that, okay, when we were a newcomer, they did not treat us as a newcomer. They gave us that opportunity. And over the period of time, we had a big team. We do have a team where we are now supporting each other and taking it forward from there. Because event is one business that you cannot do alone.
Yeah.
You cannot do with 2 people. You cannot do with 10 people. You cannot even do with 20 people. You need to know the basis of every event, the detailing part, and you need to have those many people around you. Because it's a teamwork. It's an absolute teamwork. No person can take the credit of it. I cannot take it without my partner, or without my team, or without the people, or without my clients who actually showed that kind of support.
Yeah. So you have everything here, all the backdrop, and so, or you give ideas to what you have, or you take ideas from the client, that what they want.
So it works both ways. Whenever a client is reaching out to us, we first ask them what is your reference point or what is your interest point, what is your budget line, and then basis those we share our ideas. As I told you that there was a time from one balloon arch to 200 arches or 200 events which we did, to doing that one mehendi or a haldi to 70-80 haldi which we did, to doing from that one wedding mandap to 70th mandap, wedding mandap that way. So the journey has been always on that upscale worth. So that happened because we had the material here. We would take a lot of interest from the clients. Some clients are very specific that okay, we want only this kind of decor. So if we are able to source it, if we are able to curate it, or if we are able to design something around that, just giving our touch, so that's how it does.
So you have a warehouse?
We do. We do have about 7 to 8 our own storage, wherein we have all this material being stocked, and every time we would want to go for an event, we would just take material from there and then just give it back there.
Okay, so how often do you have to meet a client? Say, for example, if I come up with you and if I have like an idea that I have my child's birthday or I have to plan some events, how often do you meet your client to know their needs? Do you also want you to know what color clothing they're gonna wear to do the decor according to that? Or how often do you meet them?
So initially when we started, there was an absolute need of meeting every client that we would do the work with, because we were beginners then. Now we have a portfolio of 500 events in our catalog which we share with them, so it's easier for them also to pick and choose. Of course, there is a conversation that happens with each and every client in detail. We go about right from the balloon colors to the, say, for arch colors, or to the drape colors, to the stage covers, to the outfits they are wearing, and what sort of match they want, or they sometimes they want to have two themes combined. So all these discussions do happen on a very regular basis. We try to meet up with clients who are mostly going to be doing events at a banquet hall, because it's very important for us to walk them through the elements that we are going, because in the banquet definitely the elements are much more than what it is at home.
Yeah.
And especially for housewarmings, we prefer to have a site visit, because in the photos and all, you can't really justify the kind of space or the kind of decor that needs to go in a particular space. So it's always easier. Then comes the wedding client definitely, and 100% we meet them. We have the contracts drawn, because wedding is something that cannot happen again. Usually
That's
it
true.
doesn't. I mean, these days people do have a good amount of changes in that thought process, but yes, I still believe that weddings are for lifetime and for once, so a lot of work goes into that.
I feel every event for that matter is the first house that people buy. It's a housewarming is a one-time event. Baby shower.
Oh yes,
That's kind of a memory for
Oh, yes,
life.
yes.
So which is your favorite ones out of all of these that you really like enjoying doing? Is it birthdays? Is it housewarming? Is it shadi? Is it kids events? What do you like more?
So it's like if you're just asking the mother to choose whether you like an elder one or the middle one or the. So for me, it is every event is important, because every event brings some experience, good, bad, worst, depends.
Yeah.
But every event has personally taught me a lot of things. When I started doing housewarming to now what I'm doing, I know the nitty-gritties of it. I know what makes, even if I have a broken garland, how do I fix it to make that particular area pretty? How do I sometimes have a broken arch at the event? Event business is such that anything can happen anytime.
Yeah.
You are bringing something which is very solid on the way, and when you put it on the stage, it just falls apart.
Yeah.
That quick thinking. So, I mean, I cannot just say that, okay, I like doing birthdays, or I just like doing haldi mehendi sort of anniversary decorations. I find every event as challenging, as beautiful, as demanding from the previous one. So I don't have like one personal favorite, but because I have a daughter, so I like decorating for girl related events. That's like my personal favorite.
Yeah, I get it. Me too. So I like birthdays more enjoying because it's like something which is kids going to enjoy it, you know.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's not just a decor, it's going to stay with you for life when even after the kids are going to go and have their own life, you will only have your photos left.
Oh, yes, totally.
With
I
those
get it.
memories that the decor that you have in there. So you tell me, if you get a client, okay, and they have, like, you already have 2 or 3 projects on that day, can you accommodate, how many events can you accommodate in a day?
So in a day, having said that, the last in the January, on the January 31st itself, when we met for that event, I was doing, that was I think I did about 5 events a day.
Wow.
It was crazy. Earlier with me and my partner, we would divide, with, like, she would do 2 and I would do 2, and then one we would sort of do together. But now that she's not there, so me managing 5 events on a day was crazy. But yes, if there is no craze in it, or there's no passion that you're doing your work, then you might as well not do it.
Yeah. So you go to each and every event to see whether everything is done.
Yes, I am a little what you say, I mean, I don't find the right word, but I just don't let go.
Yeah.
I have to be there at every event. Even if I'm not doing anything, I need to see it with my own eyes, because someone has trusted me.
Yeah.
I have to make their vision come to reality. Otherwise, anyone else can do that for them.
Yeah.
So that personal touch, I make sure I'm present on every event of mine.
So you go first, you see the event, you make sure the lights and the socket and everything is in place, and then you go on the day of the events. How early do you go? Say for example, the event is in the morning time at 10. So what time do you go to
So
the location?
if apparently the event is at 10, then we are at the storage at 6. We do our packing. We have a checklist that we follow the checklist. We do the packing. We reach at the venue around 7ish or 7:30, depending how big of that event is. Then we do the decoration. Then we clear that venue. Then we go back to storage, fit everything back inside, which is not needed for that particular event. And then come back again to remove the decoration, and then go back again to storage to have that fixed. So it's like a constant process.
So how long do you take? Is it like, do you know a certain time, or this we can finish it in 2 hours, this we can finish it in 4 hours?
Now after years of doing it, you can really figure out that, okay, this I can do it in 2 hours, or this particular decoration is only going to take me an hour, or this decoration is definitely going to take me 4 hours.
And you also keep a buffer time.
Oh yes. If I am going to take 1 hour, I will tell my client I will need 2 hours. I mean, I don't want them to come at the venue surprised, oh my god, the decoration is still not done.
Yeah,
So
that's
that
true.
is something I always try to keep in hand. Of course, we are human beings. I mean, things do fall out here and there. Sometimes the people are early, or sometimes they're way later than what we expected them to be.
Yeah.
So I mean, but we always keep buffer time.
Okay. So do you also go there after? So they give you time, right? The event is going to start at 10, going to end at 2. So you go at 2 o'clock again and get everything off, or is it your team goes only to pick it up?
So it depends. I mean, that's what I'm saying. If, say, for example, there are 5 events a day, I cannot have 5 people reach the venues, because we will have to keep those many vehicles and all of that. So we sort of divide. So some events I would go and have the tear down done, or some events we have the team to do. So most likely 90% of the cases my team goes and does the tear down. I usually don't go now. Like when we started, yes, we were running helter skelter, doing everything end to end. But now after a couple of years, we feel that it's a little relaxed that ways.
Yeah.
We have a team who can do that very efficiently.
Okay, that's great. That's great. So you help clients right from planning to execution. And have you ever faced, like, this is what was planned, but then at the end you don't feel like, okay, this is not looking nice, and you change it? Do you do that?
It happens a lot of times, as I told you, that see, we are all human beings. Sometimes what you see in the picture may not look great. I mean, no matter how close you bring that picture to reality, some things are good in the picture itself. It doesn't come out nice to your eyes. So then you do those last minute changes. That's where you need to be a little creative in your own headspace also. You just cannot follow. You just cannot copy. You just cannot get inspired.
Yeah.
You need to have that the left side of the brain needs to really run faster. Like light, it needs to run faster than light as well. Because at that moment when you're standing there in front of the decoration, you know that your client is going to be here in the next 10 minutes, and you feel that this is not right. So you need to have that like sort of spunk to change that
Change
in
it.
10, 15, whatever time left in that particular time, so that whenever that person walks in, they have the face lit, they have the sparkle in the eyes that, okay, this is
Yeah.
what I paid for and I got what I had paid for.
Yeah, yeah. So which event do you think you are more connected, more emotionally, or by far that you have done the events, which is more closer to your heart?
See, every event, by the way, अभी तक मेरे, अगर मैं सब गिनूँ, from 2024 is what we started. 23, 24 I believe we started. And अभी तक हमने almost 525 to 550 events कर लिए होंगे.
Wow, that's
So
good.
we've almost there. Yeah, I think around 550 events is what we have done so far, and looking forward to many more this year, as this year has just been the beginning. मैं कोई एक इवेंट का मेमोरी आपके साथ नहीं शेयर कर सकती विच वॉज वेरी इमोशनल टू मी. आई थिंक there have been series of events, there have been series of emotions, there have been series of planning required, but any wedding event is very 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 close to our heart, क्योंकि उसमें बहुत ज़्यादा प्लानिंग लगती है. बिकॉज उनकी प्लानिंग डिटेल्ड भी होती है, एंड इट इज़ नॉट जस्ट सेंट्रिक टू वन डे. You have your haldi, you have your mehendi, you have cocktail, you have reception, you have main shadi. So उनके बहुत multiple facets होते हैं. So the first wedding that we did, both me and my partner, that I believe is the closest to my heart, because I am really grateful to that client, क्योंकि हमें कुछ experience नहीं था शादी का, कुछ मतलब zero experience था, किया ही नहीं था. उन्होंने फिर भी हमें trust किया. They trusted. She just met us. She was a doctor. I don't want to take the name, but my client was a doctor, and she just met me and my partner, and she said, out of everything, what I just felt like, I just like you girls' vibe. It's okay. You do whatever. And she was the most chilled bride that we have ever met in our life. उसके बाद हमने बहुत सारे शादी के events किए, but we've never ever come across to a bride like her. So when God says that कि वो जब first step देते हैं, so they give a lot of they give a lot of responsibility also with it. So but that event is definitely very very close to my, and I'm sure my partner's heart also, because that was our first wedding, and from the little smallest detail कि वो flower की panel कैसे बनानी है, because we never made it before, कैसे लगेगी वो मंडप में कितने drapes होने चाहिए, वो हमारा जो stand है, what sort of stand we need to buy to make it look like a mandap, what is the table decoration that we have to do, how many tables we have to count, how many chairs so it was one of the lifetime experience that we had. So that I believe is one of the most closest event to my heart, for everything, for the money we made, for the event we created, for the happiness that we saw in a bride's eyes. So it was all very very special and very very touching to my heart.
Yeah, it is first child, like it is.
It was like the first childbirth moment for me.
Yeah. What I love about your story so far that I heard is the creativity never leaves you. It always came to you in a new form, from movie stars to milestone birthdays now.
So the creativity kept following me. Every country I went.
Yes, every country and every span of your life, but then in different forms, though. Yes. So Lavender events is not just about decor. It's about your emotions. It's about your events making special for your lifetime memories. And if you are looking for your event next, you know where to go now. She has a great experience. She's very good at it. I have personally seen her work. So now if you want to contact for your next event, contact Lavender Events. Thank you for watching, everybody, and thank you for listening through her story, her journey, and her amazing family, and her lifespan of coming from Mumbai to going to those many countries and having all the experience. And you will see that in your next event. When you have that decor, you will see the experience is there through her creativity. Thank you everyone for watching Zigzag Moments.